This is a red-tailed hawk. A red-tailed hawk is the most common hawk that we find in our area. I'm going to have Jim pass him over to me. It's okay if you pooped in the last one. Unfortunately, they always keep a backup supply of that ready to go. And I'm going to just secure him here so he can't get away from me. I'm going to bring him around so you guys can see him up close. He may flap his wings or he may stomp his feet, but he cannot get away from me. Now, a red-tailed hawk, as I mentioned, is the most common hawk in our area. It's also the largest hawk that we find in our area. And just like with the kestril, it's okay, just like with the kestril, it's a bird that we find right here in the city of Chicago. So it's actually one of our neighbors. Have any of you guys ever seen a hawk before in the city? No? Okay, well, a lot of people don't see them, but I think the next time you guys are driving with somebody, I don't know if you guys are driving yet. Is anybody driving yet here? No? Okay. So next time you're driving with somebody else and you're on the expressway, since you're not driving, you can do this. Look out the window and look at the utility poles as you're driving by. And if you're on the expressway long enough, I guarantee you, I guarantee you, you will see a red-tailed hawk perched up probably about 50 to 75% of the time. There are actually a lot of them, and the reason why we see them very often along the edges of highways, whether it be 290, the Kennedy, the Eisenhower, whatever it is because along the edges of highways we have a lot of grassy areas, right? And those grassy areas support a lot of mice and rats and prey animals, food for the hawk. So for them, it's a good idea to spend a good part of the day perched up on a utility pole and then just look down at the ground below them with their really super good eyes and just wait until they see some movement. And then when they do see some movement of a little mouse or something, all they have to do is just take off, fly down, and catch it. So I'm going to bring him around for you guys to see up close. As I bring him around, you'll notice that his tail feathers are kind of an orangey red color, and that's where the species gets its name, red-tailed hawk. Doesn't it? Yeah. They have very long feathers in the lower part of their belly here, and so sometimes those kind of cover their legs, and they use those long feathers in the wintertime to stay warm. Yeah, as you guys can see, he's got a pretty big wingspan too. He's got about a 3-foot wingspan, which is pretty large. Now, red-tailed hawks, unlike falcons, have kind of big fan-shaped wings, and their tail feathers, as you can see, are kind of big and fan-shaped too. Red-tailed hawks are able to fly pretty fast, and sometimes they will use their speed to chase after other birds, like a pigeon, and catch it and eat it. But we often see them soaring or gliding a lot too. And that's where those kind of big fan-shaped wings and tail feathers really come in handy. They use those big wings and tail feathers in order to catch the thermals, the hot air that comes up off of the ground when the sun has warmed an open area. And that hot air will come up and it will give them lift. And so they're able to stay up in the air and fly without really using any energy to flap their wings. Just like you've seen people in hang gliders before and that sort of thing on TV or pictures of it. They're basically doing the same sort of thing. They're flying around in circles using the warm air that's just naturally there anyways without using any of their own energy to have to move around. And at the same time, they can be looking down at the ground with those eyes that are 7 times better than ours, like binoculars, and basically hunting without really even using any energy, trying to find something to catch. Now, a red-tailed hawk is something that we call a generalist. That just means that they'll eat anything they can catch. basically. In the past, before there was a big city here, they would have been eating things like mice and squirrels and that sort of thing. But now that the city of Chicago is here, people have brought certain animals with them from other places, like sewer rats or pigeons, you know, things that we find right in the heart of the city of Chicago. And red-tailed hawks, instead of leaving because they don't know what these things were or starving, just figured out how to catch those and eat those too. So they have actually increased probably in numbers over the last couple hundred years since, you know, people have really moved into this area and built it up, instead of decreased like a lot of other wild animals have. So they're a pretty cool bird, very adaptive. They can kind of go with the flow, learn how to catch pigeons in the air, things like that.